lecture. I introduce Lara Bernardes from Brazil, but she's studying in University of Ventspils. Yeah, and she today introduced about their project about KuupKulgur from Estonian language. I don't know how to translate, but it's from Tartu Observatory Lunar Rover project. Yeah.
Thank you.
Here you go.
So, yeah.
I can work for you.
Good afternoon, everyone. As Martin said, my name is Lara. I am a student at Ventspils University of Applied Sciences. You guys probably have heard of it, but if not, it's a university in Ventspils, the only one we have. And I am a third year student pursuing computer science. I actually graduate next June, like in a few days, with a computer science bachelor's degree. And today I was invited to share with you guys a little bit of my work as a engineer at Tartu Observatory, developing our lunar rover called KuupKulgur. And it actually means moon rover in the Estonian language. Basically, Kuup means cube because the rover, this is the prototype of the rover. If you look at it, it is made of two cubes. This is not a cube, but if you like split in the middle, two cubes. So that's why it's a cube. And Kulgur means rover. So cube rover, and actually it's a complicated name. I know I didn't choose it myself, but it is what it is. Ku, K-U-U means moon. So it's also a moon rover or cube rover. It doesn't really matter how you call it. A little bit about me. As I said, I am a computer science student at Ventspils University. I am originally from Brazil. I was born in Brazil and then I lived I was like 18. And then in 2022, I actually moved to Latvia and I started studying here. And it's been basically 3 years since your country is also my home. I am also an engineer at Tartu Observatory, and I work in the space technology department. And yeah, the space technology department is responsible for the development of the first Estonian lunar rover. And this is what I'm going to be talking to you guys today. So yeah, about Tartu Observatory itself. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Tartu before or to Estonia, but it's basically the biggest space research center in the Baltics. So it's located in a small town called Torabere, and it's actually not in the Tartu city. So I put a map there, that's the Tartu city, but it's like 20 kilometers from it. So it's basically part of Tartu. And it is a very, very old institution. As you can see, it was founded in 1810, so it's been a long time. And Tartu Observatory basically focuses not only on space technology, which basically works with the development of technology that is going to space, like a rover, satellites, and other cool things like that, but also we talk to astrophysics, cosmology, and Earth observation, and very different things. It's actually open for visitors. So if you guys are interested in like rovers or programming or space in general, you guys can come to Tartu Observatory, visit it, and we're gonna be happy to show you around and show our lives and everything cool that we do there. Yeah, that's where Tartu is located. And this is a picture of Tartu Observatory. As you can see, this is in the middle of a forest, but it's a really, really pretty place, and you can learn a lot by visiting Tartu Observatory. So if you have a chance, you should definitely come and talk to us there. Before I start talking about the rover, I have a question, and I would like to know if anyone here in this classroom know how many people have been on the moon, like walked on the moon. Any guesses are fine. Well, okay, perfect. 12 people have been to the moon. That's actually when I was a high schooler, I had no idea how many people had been to the moon, and this was an information that was new to me. But yes, 12 people have been to the moon. And now another question: why? Why do you go to the moon? Why would we go in why space if we have Earth to explore and so many cool things happening here? Why would we go to space? Anyone have any idea? They are not, because I also had no idea when I was in high school. So basically, humans are quite curious. I'm pretty sure that each one of you have different interests and different questions and different hobbies. And since the beginning of humanity, you can say that humans have been curious about space. Like, what is space? What is happening there? And there have been so many questions that have remained unanswered, and basically, exploring space is a way of humans to answer all these questions that humans have had for so long. But apart from answering questions, it's also cool, right? Like sending things to the moon and like exploring things that have never been explored before. It's also a very cool thing to do. And also, why the moon? The moon is basically our closest neighbor. So before going to Mars, before going to other planets, we should first test our technologies on the moon, because why not? It's easier, it's cheaper, it's like a thing that is not that hard, have been done before. So exploring technologies on the moon and then taking them to Mars, for example, is an option. And it's way to lead things and lead the development of many different projects. And also, the things that we learn from space also helps us develop technologies on Earth. For example, GPS. Everyone here probably has been in a car and has been using Waze to like go around town. Without satellites, GPS wouldn't be possible. So, developing technologies, space technologies, help we develop technologies for Earth as well. So it's relevant, and the last time humans have been to the moon was in 1970 or something like that, or 50. I'm not really good with date, but it's been a while. It's been over 50 years. And all the 12 people that went to the moon were men. There has been no girl to the moon or anything like that. And NASA actually has a project right now called Artemis. I don't know if any of you guys have heard about it, but basically Artemis project wants to take humans back to the moon. But this time it's not like, okay, we're gonna go there, see it, and come back. No, they wanna actually have sustained human presence on the moon. So humans are going and they're staying there. And as you can imagine, the moon is really big. Many parts of it have been not explored yet. So it is dangerous, right? You wouldn't want to go to the moon and explore a part of it that hasn't been explored yet. So one of the ways to do it, one of the smart ways to do it, if you have the help of robots like a rover, you can send it to an unexplored part of the moon, use it to navigate, see what is around, and now that you know the environment that was before unexplored, it is more viable for humans to go there on their own and visit it. So rovers are also a way to help humans explore the moon, because as I said, it is not completely explored. There are many things we don't know about it yet. So having the help of something that doesn't die, doesn't get hurt, it doesn't cry, doesn't feel scared or anything like that, it is helpful. And that's one of the goals of KuupKulgur, developing something that can help humans in projects like Artemis by NASA, where taking humans to the moon and they're going to stay there. Moving on about what is KuupKulgur, right? I think it's a pretty obvious because I already said it, but KuupKulgur is a rover. This is basically a 3D printed version of it, and it's a bit small, but the actual rover, like the real thing, is about 3 times as big as this one. So it's not that big. There are rovers, for example, developed by ESA and by NASA that are the size of a war tank, like those huge things. So our rover is quite tiny, and as you can see, it has 6 wheels. This here is the camera, and in the real thing, you can remove black part, and inside of it, we have many different kinds of sensors, many different kinds of hardware pieces, and we also have an onboard computer that basically does all the calculations and all the cool stuff that the rover does. So it's just like this, I think it's but it's a 3D printed version of it. So it is quite fragile, but if it breaks, it's fine. I can just 3D print another part of it. But the real rover is quite sturdy and quite resistant. So the wheels are made of steel. This is also very resistant, and it is quite prepared to face the lunar environment. So yeah, and another cool thing about KuupKulgur is that it's a project developed by students. I am a student myself, like you guys, but I am a bachelor's student. We have master's students, we have PhD students, and we also have high schoolers that join the project just because they are very interested in the project. And even though they didn't have a lot of technical knowledge about, I don't know, programming or hardware development and things like that, they had the motivation. So they decided to join the project, and they are with us to this day. So this is something that I wanted to share with you guys. If you are a person who's interested in space, even if you don't know, you don't need to be a genius to join KuupKulgur. You just have to have the motivation. If you really feel like, okay, this is a cool thing, this is something I could do, we would be more than happy to welcome you and teach you new things and let you try things and like develop a rover that is actually going to the moon. It's probably going to the moon in a few years, probably 2029, if we are lucky. But yeah, you can help us develop it. And if you want to look at it, you guys can like pass it through comments. If you don't want to look at it, it's fine as well. But yeah, this is KuupKulgur. And moving on to the next slide, and it's basically what can you do, right? Okay, we are developing a rover. Cool, we are sending it to the moon, but what does it do? What is the purpose? Because there's no point of just sending something to the moon without a purpose, right? We have to do something. So basically, as I said, KuupKulgur has a camera. One of the things that KuupKulgur can do, obviously, is to record things. It can record the environment and send these videos or these pictures back to Earth. So we can do some research, see new things, that unexplored parts of the moon, and just videos for different purposes. It really depends on the mission. We also have different kinds of sensors inside the rover. We have like temperature sensors, so you can see what is the temperature on the moon. I don't know, different kinds of things. We also have multiple cameras. Actually, that prototype only has one camera, but we have different kinds of models, and we have different kinds of cameras for different purposes. And yeah, we have batteries, we have sensors of temperature, we have sensors of humidity. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on inside of it. It is more complex than it seems, but at the same time, it is quite understandable if you really are interested and you have like the time to look into it. But yeah, of course, Coop is also, even though it's so small and tiny, it is able to drive on the moon around quite nicely. It's able like to climb rocks and go inside craters, and yeah, it's really sturdy rover. And as you can see, that's the real thing. That's the real rover that we have at Tartu Observatory. And at Tartu Observatory, we actually have a lunar anomaly facility. It's basically a bunker that we created to simulate the lunar surface, basically. So every time you have to do some kind of resistance test, for example, to see if the rover is actually capable of driving on the surface of the moon, we take the rover, we take it to this bunker, and then we drive it around. Because if it's able to drive around in the bunker, then it's like a way to prove that, okay, it is prepared, that it can go to the moon and it can like drive around and face different kinds of scenarios. So these are some of the things that Coop can do. But another interesting thing about it is that it's a very modular platform. If you wanna, for example, develop a robotic arm or different kinds of tools, for example, for scientific research, you can basically just put it in there. You just like connect it to the rover. And if you connect, for example, a robotic arm, you can pick up rocks, and these rocks can be used for further scientific study. And again, you can put different kinds of tools, depends on the kind of research you want to do. And KuupKulgur basically caters to all these different kinds of needs. And it is a modular platform. This is something that we have been advertising, saying a lot. That is, you can do a lot with it. You can do different kinds of research, different kinds of like exploration. So even though, again, it is tiny and it is maybe a bit cute, but it is a powerful rover and it can do quite a lot with it. And again, this is basically what I was saying about the bunker that we turned into a lunar analog facility. So as you can see, the walls of the bunker were basically painted black to simulate space. And the ground is made of a specific kind of sand to actually simulate like the surface of the moon. And we have some craters, we have some rocks. And if you visit that observatory, you can actually go to the bunker and drive the rover there. So you're gonna have the feeling of being on the moon, and it's quite cool actually. And that's my supervisor, for example. He's like driving the rover and doing different kinds of tests. And you might be wondering, what is this big light here, right? But it's just to simulate the sun. Because, of course, the light on the moon is different. So when we are recording videos and testing the camera that is also developed by us, we have to have like a real thing, right? You can't just like record the gardens of the university or something. No, we have to have something similar to the moon. And this is one of the ways of testing the rover, but of course, we can simulate everything, right? For example, the physics of the moon, the gravity, we can do it. It's maybe NASA is able to do it, but again, we are a smaller project, we are students, so it's not like we can remove the gravity of Earth and like do something different. So for us to test these kind of situations, like actual moon physics and everything, we actually developed this 3D simulation that is basically, I don't know if any one of you is interested in game development, for example, but it is basically a game where we have the moon, of course, we have the rovers, and we simulate the physics and of the moon with the gravity and everything, and there we can see the rover is actually capable of surviving in the conditions that we are going to encounter on the moon, and we are not able to simulate on Earth. So this is another cool part of the project. And we are also always looking for students who are interested in programming and interested in like game development, because it's quite similar. It's quite fun to do actually. So if people, any of you are again are interested in doing something like this, simulating the moon and simulating a real rover to help us test our rover and see if it is ready to go to the moon, this is something you can do. And we are always improving it, because the rover also goes through cycles of development and it's always changing and evolving and getting better. So this is something that is really important for the cycle of development of the rover. And now this, if I'm talking too fast, by the way, you guys can tell me to slow down or just say it in a different way. I'm just a student like you guys, so don't be scared of me. I'm probably more scared of you all than you are of me, so don't worry about it. This slide is basically about how do we control the rover, right? Because again, let's imagine this is the rover, and has all the hardware and everything's perfect, but we have to move it. Does anyone know how we move it? How? We tell him like, come here, and will he come here? Any guesses?
We do have a remote, like control remote from the.
Yes, it's perfect. This is it. Right now, the current version of the rover, we use a controller, like Xbox controller, and we're able like to connect to it through Wi-Fi, for example, or Bluetooth or anything like that, and then we're able to control it. And of course, using the controller, like the video game controller, is not very professional, right? It's not like the rover is going to be on the moon and we're going to be like here with the controller. It's not like that. So because of this non-professional way of controlling the rover, we had the idea of developing the mission control interface of KuupKulgur, and I'm actually responsible for it. I'm the lead of the software development of the mission control interface. And the main idea behind it is that we have an application that runs in your browser. So basically, if you have a computer, you're able to control the rover. You're gonna access this web application, and this web application is basically always connected to the rover. It doesn't matter if you're in Latvia, if you're in Brazil, if you're in Japan, and the rover is, I don't know, in Estonia, you're going to be able to control it because of the network architecture that we have behind all this mission control interface. And in this interface, you're basically able to see all the camera feeds and sensor data. So you can see if the battery is dying, you can see if any of the sensors have been some kind of problem. You can receive different kinds of data as well. And one of the most important things is that you can control the rover using your computer. You guys probably have played games like, I don't know, CSGO or anything like that, where you have to press WASD to like move the character and everything like that. It's basically the same. You press the keyboard keys, the rover is going to respond to that. We also have a virtual joystick on the screen. I don't know if I'm going to have a picture of it, but this is like the home page of the mission control interface. If you are like controlling the rover in a tablet and you don't have access to a keyboard, you can just use the screen and use the virtual joystick to control it. And finally, you can also just connect again a gamepad to it. If you really like the Xbox gamepad, you can just connect it to your computer, and you're going to be able to control the rover. And here it's just another page of the mission control interface because we have like different, it's called endpoints, but it's just like different views of the same interface where we can see battery state because the rover has 5 batteries in total. So you can see the voltage of each one of the batteries. In that one, in that side there, you can see basically the health of the onboard computer. Because after all, in the end of the day, the rover has a computer inside of it, a normal computer, like you guys know, just smaller, so you can fit inside of it. So we can see basically CPU usage, we can see memory usage, we can see if the rover is really, really hot, because if it's really, really hot, there's something wrong with it. Or if it's really, really cold, there's also something wrong with it. So we're able to monitor temperature and also memory usage. Because of course, we are recording videos and taking pictures and getting all the different kinds of data. And it's not like we have infinite memory, and we have to take care of what we're doing, because resources in space, they're really limited, and you have to really pay attention on how you're using the memory, for example, because if you run out of it, then you're not going to have any more, and that's not good because it's really expensive to send something to the moon. This is another question, and if you guys don't know, it's fine as well. What is the delay to send a command between Earth and the moon? For example, a radio wave to go from Earth to the moon. How long do you guys think it takes? Like a minute, 10 minutes, a second? Any guesses? I also had no idea when I was in high school, so it's fine. Basically, it takes 1 second, 1.3 seconds for a radio wave to go from Earth to the moon. And you might think, right, oh, that's quite fast. 1 second is like the blink of an eye, but it's actually not that fast. Because if you stop and think, okay, I will press a button in the keyboard, so the rover moves forward. It's hypothetical. This is not really going to happen. But let's suppose we will send the rover to the moon and control it using a keyboard. We press W. We are expecting the rover to go forward, but it takes 1 second. Okay, the rover, after 1 second, receives the signal and it is like, okay, I'm going to move forward. But then it takes 1 second as well for us on Earth to see that the rover moved. So there's like already 2 seconds. And I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but this kind of delay accumulates, and it gets bigger and bigger depending on different conditions of the environment. Maybe the rover is inside of a crater, for example, where the radio wave doesn't reach, and then it's gonna take even longer, or maybe the signal is not even going to reach the rover. So this is not really good, and this is why controlling the rover the way I said, it is not ideal. For example, having a controller or controlling it using your keyboard keys or a gamepad. Because there is delay, and delay is a very complicated thing to deal with. And that's why, while developing the rover, we have decided to make it autonomous. And what does it mean to be autonomous? That it's going to be able to make decisions on its own. Like it is smart. It is able to drive on its own. It is able to make decisions. It's able to basically do everything on its own without human input. So we don't need to control it. It's doing its thing on its own. It is like fine. We don't have to care about sending commands to it. But although it is autonomous, it is not 100% smart. It's not like a genius that will never make mistakes. That's not it. For example, you guys probably have used ChatGPT before. Sometimes you're going to talk to ChatGPT and it's going to say something dumb to you, and it's so sure that it's right, but it's obvious not right. But it's a machine. It's a machine learning model that makes mistakes because it's not actual intelligence there. It is just it is just basically projecting information that it was taught. So it is smart, of course, but it's not perfect. And because of that, even though, again, it's making decisions on its own and it's able to do everything on its own, there's always someone called an operator sitting somewhere in a ground station looking at it and monitoring it. Because if something goes wrong, like something in the software goes wrong and the rover is like, okay, I'm gonna enter a crater and like stay there, even though he's not supposed to do it. The operator is able to look at it and be like, what is happening? And just press a cancel button and the rover is going to stop. So it is autonomous, it is able to make decisions, but there's always someone monitoring it in different ways as well. For example, again, if the rover suddenly we notice that it's overheating or it's getting really, really cold or there's something wrong with the sensors, if there's someone watching it, we can just stop it, stop the mission. Let's see if we can do something, change something to make it be successful. Because I don't know if you guys know, but sending things to space is really expensive. So it's not worth it for us to like lose the rover because it made some dumb decision on its own. Of course, I think prices probably vary from country to country and from continent to continent. I'm not sure, but I know that we from KuupKulgur have been doing some research, and for each kilogram we send to the moon, we have to pay 200,000 euros. So it's a lot of money. It actually, the real rover weighs 7 kilograms. So 7 kilograms, considering the price of 1 kilogram, is almost 1 million and a half euros. So yeah, a lot of money. We don't want it to, for us to send it if something goes wrong. So we will always be monitoring it. And it actually ties to the mission control interface. That's why it is relevant now that we are testing it and we can drive it with the keyboard. But in the future, this control interface is going to integrate with other ground station hardware, for example, those big antennas you guys probably have seen around that. We'll then talk to a satellite in space, and then we'll talk to another satellite in space, and we'll talk to another satellite. They're called relay satellites. And yeah, after going through so many steps, then the is going to reach the rover. So yeah, because of course it's a long distance between Earth and the Moon, and direct communication is not always possible. It's actually very hard to achieve such things. And yeah, another question for you guys: do you guys know or have, of course, don't know, but some guess on how fast KuupKulgur is, like how fast it can be, like 1 kilometer per hour, 60 kilometers per hour, or anything really? Any guesses? 25 kilometers or what? Maybe
15.
Okay, those are good guesses, but actually, KuupKulgur drives at 5 centimeters per second, so it is really slow. Like it goes like like this. It goes really slow. And you might ask, why is it so slow, right? But then, let's suppose there's a rock here, right? Really big rock, and it's zooming, it's going really fast, and this happens. Like it goes like this. What do we do now? Are we going to send someone there to help it? No. So if it goes like a turtle with the belly up, it's over. It's not we can do anything, like the mission is over. So if it goes really slowly, not only it can record the environment better, but it can also be more aware of what is around it. And we as operators, and if we see this thing approaching something very dangerous, we can again just press a button and stop it. Like don't go there because something bad is gonna happen to you. And yeah, I don't have mentioned it, but the goal of KuupKulgur is to be sent to the moon in 2029. And we're not going to send only one rover, probably. We're going to send like hopefully 5 of them or something like this, because as I said, it's really expensive. But imagine if we send only one rover, right? And apart from paying those 200K per kilogram, we also have to like rent a spot in our rocket. It's also like extremely expensive as well. So we send one single rover, and they put it on the moon, and I don't know, a meteor hits it, and again, it's over. We only had one chance, and if anything happens to it, it's over, and our dreams are also over. So if we send many rovers, if one fails, we at least have another 4 chances to be successful with the mission. And this is just a bit about, again, technical details of the rover eyes, the rover ears, and mission tools. This weird thing right here, it's a camera. It's in front of the rover. But this, again, this is a model that only has one camera. We are developing other ones that have like 2, 3. It really depends on the mission needs and everything like that. We have an IMU, and the IMU, I don't know if you guys have heard about it. It is basically an inertial measurement unit. And I know it sounds fancy, but in really simple terms, an IMU is basically so a sensor that tells us in what direction the rover is moving. So the rover doesn't fly, right? It doesn't go up. It only goes or it only goes to the front, it goes to the back, it turns like this. But if we notice that this sensor is telling us that the rover is like floating, then we know something is wrong. Or if it's like sinking on Earth, we also know something is wrong. The rover is not supposed to do it. So this sensor is one of the most important ones we have that just tells us like what direction is it going. Is it going to the left, to the right, to the whatever direction? We just need to know if everything is okay. And yeah, we also have system monitors just to tell us if the battery is healthy. The battery is dying really quickly, because I said that the rover has 5 batteries, and they're gonna be rechargeable with solar panels. So we're gonna use like the light from the sun to charge the rover and everything like that. But at the same time, the rover is not gonna be on the moon for really long. It has a really short lifespan. The lifespan of KuupKulgur is, if I'm not mistaken, is around 30 days, like 30 Earth days. So we have this 30 days to like explore and do whatever we need to do, and then the rover dies. And you might ask, what happens, right? It's dead there. Well, nothing really. It just stays there, and because again, everything is really expensive when it comes to space. So if the rover is sent alone and without a human, it is not worth it for us to just like send an astronaut or anyone really just to go there and like collect the rover and put it back in the rocket and bring it back to Earth. It's not worth it. And again, this is probably going to be sent with some astronauts, but in the case it is sent alone, it's going to stay there. And I don't think anyone is going to complain about it, to be honest. Like, not like we have some aliens on the moon that are gonna come angry to our thing, like, why did you leave your rover there? Like, it doesn't matter. So we can just stay there. It's a bit sad because like it is a bit cute, and I would like feel sad when it's dead on the moon, but it is what it is. Unfortunately, we can't really do anything about it. So that picture there is basically me. This is me here, and some of the people that work with me. KuupKulgur is a very diverse group of engineers, and we have people from all around the world. Basically, I am from Brazil, but I study in Latvia. One of my supervisors is from Germany. Another of my main supervisor is called Simon, and it's from Bangladesh. And yeah, we have a lot of Estonians as well. We have a lot of Latvians at the observatory. So yeah, this is a place that is really welcoming. And again, I'll tell you guys that if you know anyone that has the interest of working with space technology, or just feels like, oh, it's something so cool, I want to try it out. You can. You don't need to be the smartest person on earth to work with these things. You can start programming things or start working in small robots or anything really. And then come and talk to us, and we're gonna ask you what you're interested in, and we're gonna be happy to welcome you. But you have to be prepared to the fact that engineering is not the easiest thing in the world. Not because it's, oh my God, very, very hard, but because sometimes it's really frustrating. For example, there has been times where I spent the whole week with my team trying to fix like a code problem, and we like spent the whole day, the whole entire days trying to fix it. Whole week didn't work, and then we went home on the weekend, and everyone was sad because okay, we don't know how to fix it. What do we do? And okay, we kept working on it. And then I remember at some point I just woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, oh my God, I get it now. It was like a blessing out of nowhere. So sometimes this kind of thing is gonna happen, and you're gonna spend time trying to fix things, and it's not gonna work. And you're gonna try it again, and you're gonna talk to people. No one's gonna be able to fix it. But while you were like trying to fix things, you're also learning, and you're also bettering your knowledge of things that before you didn't know. So yeah, things break, but we are here to fix it. And again and again and again until it's perfect. And the moment it's perfect or close to perfection, because perfection is not something you can actually achieve, you can start teaching new people. Like, as I said, a few years ago, I didn't know anything about space technology. I thought that space was cool, and I had the dream of doing something related to space, but I didn't know anything. So I felt like I was not capable. And when I started working at Tartu Observatory, I felt like, oh my God, everyone here is so smart, and I don't know what I'm doing. But again, everyone has been a student before or still is, and they're gonna teach you. And if you're patient and if you have like the will and if you don't give up, you can be a space engineer and you can make things like this. Maybe you don't want to work for KuupKulgur, but you can get together and create a Latvian Lunar Rover, for example, because this is the Estonian one, and maybe Latvia needs to make one as well to compete. Maybe something else. If you don't want rovers, maybe make a satellite, or maybe make some other different kind of technology that is going to be sent to the moon. And I can guarantee you that it's very rewarding. That you can see your work being put in something that is going to space and it's going to be like remembered by humanity for very long. But it's not something easy to do, but it's something remarkable. And yeah, my presentation is almost ending, so you guys will be getting rid of me soon, don't worry. So just to finish it, basically, why does KuupKulgur matter? Basically, of course, it's prepared, we're developing this rover. We are preparing for future missions. Having a rover like this that is so small, that is relatively cheap compared to NASA rovers and everything like this, will enable different kinds of companies, for example, to do research on the moon, to make the moon more reachable. Of course, we are also, by developing this rover, even, for example, if we don't manage it to send it to the moon, maybe something happens and we can't send it, who knows? At least we are spending all these years studying and teaching new students about space technology. We are inspiring people. And we are trying to show that the stars and the moon, they're not that far away, and you can actually dream bigger and do bigger things that like do great things that sometimes as children we think that are not really possible. And yeah, of course, another important thing is that by developing rovers like this, like the Estonian lunar rover, we show to the world that like the Baltics, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, they exist. And there's a lot of smart people here that are capable of great things because sometimes when we think of like space technology and like space missions and all these cool things, we think of the United States, we think maybe of Germany, we think of Russia. We don't Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania are not the first countries that come to our minds. So making things like this will change the reality and show that okay, people here are prepared and like we can make great things as well. So this is one of the purpose of KuupKulgur, to show to the world that hey, we exist and we can do things as well. And yeah, this is like your role. Basically, if you are interested in KuupKulgur or in space technology as well, you can follow us on Instagram or access the website. I can guarantee you that my team is the most friendly team of people in the world. Like sometimes you talk to us and it doesn't feel like we are students and making a rover because we are just like normal people. We're not geniuses. We are not unreachable people. We are just students interested in space who want to like do cool things. And yeah, as I mentioned, everyone in KuupKulgur is a student, maybe a PhD student, but still a student. So you're going to be basically between family. So you don't need to be scared. And once again, maybe you don't like KuupKulgur, maybe you don't like rovers, maybe you don't like Estonia, who knows? You don't need to work on this. You can do something else. No, you just need to be curious. Like start coding, start building small robots, start doing things if you're interested. I can guarantee you that each one of you here has the potential of becoming a space engineer and like going, sending things to the moon. Who knows? Maybe one of you wants to be an astronaut. Maybe you guys will be going with Coop to the moon. Who knows? But yeah, you please believe in yourselves because you are able to do whatever you want. And I just want to say thank you for listening to me today. And I hope you learned something and I hope you found it at least a little bit interesting. I know sometimes it can be a bit boring, but yeah, I'm really thankful for the invite of like coming here and teaching you guys a little bit about Coop. We're always happy to share the things we've been developing. And I brought the basic stickers. If any of you guys want stickers, I have lots of them. You can get as many as you want. And like glue on your computer or glue whatever. And yeah, thank you again. And if you have any questions, you feel free to ask me, and I'll be happy to answer to the best of my abilities. Because again, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I just try. Thank you. And yes.
So we have answered questions time.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody is some kind of questions. Or maybe
What is the average weight of rover?
Well, this rover here, it weighs 7 kilograms, but it really varies. Like I know that there is a rover being developed by a company called GMV, and it's located in Spain. And this rover weighs 250 kilograms. So it depends. It depends on like the project. You can, if you decide to create a rover yourself, you can choose everything. You can choose the weight, the size. And so it depends on, but this is a tiny one. This is a baby one, 7 kilograms. So yeah.
Is there like a reason why the camera is shaped like that?
Well, I'm not the person who developed the camera, but this basically when the camera has a different kind of lens. So the camera, the image itself is a bit distorted, like it looks a bit funny. So this helps the distortion of the image. It helps to fix it so that when you look at the image, it is not something like all distorted and weird. It actually looks like a proper video that you would be recording with your phone. It's just like a helper, I guess, because again, it's a special material as well, because you can just send any kind of camera in space. Just a design choice to help with the quality of the image, basically. So yeah. Let's go. Deliver. You will prepare control spaceship for. Basically, this is I haven't decided it yet because again we are doing it in 2030. So we are focusing basically finishing it now. But I think maybe you have heard of SpaceX, made by Elon Musk. We basically rent a little space of the rocket, put the rover there, and then they deliver it for us. Basically. So it's basically a service that you buy. Because if we decided to develop a rocket as well, then
So maybe Andres Slavinskis, maybe you have some questions for Lara?
Oh, no, sorry, I'm busy, sorry.
Okay, I know you're quite busy. Okay, maybe someone last questions? Oh, okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Lara. Amazing.
Please get stickers.
Yeah.
Would you like to sit down? Let's make one.